Bill.
A prostituter?
Yeah, oh, sorry, I used the wrong word. Prosecutor.
Oh, sorry, persecutor.
Yeah, no, sorry, yeah, persecutor.
Okay. Prosecutor. A prosecutor has placed a bet with the registrar, and the registrar will accept his bet, and that's all it is a bet that he does not know his rights. So the prosecutor will go into court knowing that you do not know your rights. If you knew your rights, you would write a letter and it would be gone before you got to court. So several years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, a young lady from Brisbane rang me from the court, and she said, "Bill, I've been following your advice, YouTube advice. And she said, the judge has thrown me out of court." I'd never met this lady before, but she said, "The judge has thrown me out of court and told me that I must get a lawyer to represent me." So she said, "What should I do?" And I said, "Oh, look, I'll give you all my 20 years experience in 2 minutes." So I said, "There's only one thing you can do that I can tell you from this side of the Tasman." And I said, "Go into court and say to the judge, 'Your Honour, I've just got a question for the persecutor.'" I said, "That's the only thing I can suggest you do, is go into the court and say to the judge, 'Your Honour, just got a question for the prosecutor. I know what your role is. I think it's a sausage roll, but just need to make sure what the prosecutor's role is.'" I said, "Are you an agent of the Crown?" And he stood up and says, "Yes." And she said, "Well, in that case, I guess I am the principal. Would you settle and close this matter now?" And the judge said, "Get out of my court!" It's that simple. You go in there and you argue and carry on. I'm this and I'm that. I'm not, that's a fiction. I'm the living man and I'm this and I'm that. Has my voice gone up a couple of decibels? Okay, it's all argument. The moment you argue, you've lost. She asked a question. I keep saying, ask questions. The moment you ask a question, they're in default if they don't answer. When they don't answer, what has happened? Silent acquiescence. Okay, so that's what a persecutor's role is. Okay? I think you just set me up for that. I think you I think you set me up for that, didn't you?
Now, the question there, you mentioned that are you an agent of the Crown?
Yep.
Does it matter if you have an overseas birth certificate?
No, it doesn't matter a difference. What are they doing? If they're interacting with you, they're coming in as an agent. Okay? If they couldn't access your trust account, they would leave you alone. Now, you can do that, and I did that for many, many years, up until 2019. Why I was untouchable was the PPSR. Okay, I first registered on the PPSR in 2003, and I showed the people of New Zealand through seminars what the PPSR and how strong it was. And 2006, I got bankrupted by Inland Revenue. So I gave the official assignee a copy of my PPSR filing. I said, good luck with that, brother. Couldn't touch me. They couldn't do a thing. They could not enter my trust account because I had registered a lien on the PPSR. I'm bloody miles ahead of everyone, mate. I mean, people hadn't even heard of the PPSR in 2003. So 2006, I got bankrupted. 2008, because the PPSR only goes for 5 years, I forgot to renew my listing. I was having too much fun and I forgot. Bloody sex and drugs and rock and roll, I tell you. Anyway, they entered my property and went through me like a dose of salt. So I lost everything. No, I didn't. Still got my life. So that was it. But so you can stop them entering your property on the PPSR. But in 2019, after being on the PPSR for all those years, they suddenly said, you got a frivolous and vexatious listing on the PPSR, so we're kicking you off. And I went to rejoin, and the only way you can rejoin now is through the real me, which is not the real me, it's the artificial real me. So yeah, I've always been way ahead of them, but then they eventually catch up with me and kick me in the, yeah.
So you still on the PPSR bill?
No, because I'm not going to go in through the real me, okay? Because the real me is not the real me. Now, I did try it. You know me, I'll try anything. So I went down to AA, not Alcoholics and not. Jeez, I can see how you think. You got smarter this time, didn't you? You moved over. I went down to the AA and I got my photo taken. And they said, right, we need your birth certificate. And I said, well, I've got this one. Where is it? I've got this one here, which is an authenticated copy of my printout. And it's a certificate because it's a certified true copy. He never gets the number. 6668.2. Oh, it's the mark of the man. Don't ask questions. Anyway, I gave them a copy of that, and they said, "But that's not a birth certificate." I know. But I said, "You got a photo of the real me?" Okay. So they accepted my authenticated copy, and they accepted my filing for the real me. The trouble is, if you go in with that, you're suddenly alive. So it got rejected by people higher up the food chain. I try everything, as I say. No, well, it's just a matter of not being afraid of them, knowing that it's a piece of paper, they can't do anything to me until you realise that it's only a bit of paper you're fighting. Fight it back with another bit of paper. The pen is mightier than the sword. Forget the phone. Statue? Oh, sorry.
Sunset. Sundown.
up. What's that? What is that? What do you say? Where? There.
What is it?
We're rocking the ship!
Tight under the mast, upside down, so when the boat flips, we'll be the right way up.
Ship's upside down. Right way. Ooh, what are you doing? Okay, so
Keeping backyards
what
fresh.
they're telling us in that clip, one of my favorite movies actually, Pirates of the Caribbean. What they're telling us is that everything is upside down and back to front. Okay, so when you go through law school, although not everyone got taught it, they asked you to stand in front of a mirror and put your right hand up. In the mirror, it's the left hand. Try combing your hair. Those of you who've still got hair. It's back to front. Everything looks exactly like you, but it's a mirror image of the truth. So what you believe is reality is not reality. Now, it's just a shame. I showed a couple of people the unmasking, the lady who takes the mask off. And, I mean, they come right down these latex or silicon, I think they are. Sorry? Yeah, they're not real, okay? And so, like, at the moment, you know, the demented basement dweller, they reckon there's 3 people playing his role. probably a couple of people playing the Queen's role, and there's at least one man playing Horse Feature's role. Okay, so we don't know what reality is. A lot of it is going to be revealed to us. But the great unwashed out there, the ones who are going to be stuck in the 3D for the rest of their lives, they form another timeline. We go off on a different timeline as the volunteers. And you guys, as the volunteers, will go off on the new timeline with 1,000 years of peace. Okay? So, another part of the process that we're using will be a certificate. Now, government, or the corporation that masquerades as the government, can only see certificates. So a written assurance or official representation, another interesting word, representation, that some act has or has not been done or an event occurred. So the birth certificate is telling you that an event has occurred. The printout is not a certificate. So was that an event that occurred? Pretty sure it was. But that's the official entry into their record books. So entry, by entering our property, they've taken over our property. And at the bottom there, you'll see also affidavit, birth certificate, license, permit. When you're dealing with councils and things like that, they say you need a permit for that. Have a look what permit actually means. You need to make a what happens when you're submissive? What? No, when you're submissive, you accept whatever's coming your way when you're submissive. I beg your pardon? Yeah. You're rolling up. Take me. Okay. They give it all away when you actually look at words. And so what I'm trying to do is, I know a lot of you skipped the lessons at school and just went to eat your lunch. Some went to sell drugs. It's amazing what comes out when you talk to people. And I'm not looking at anyone when I say that. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is teach you to look for words. Realize what the words are and how powerful they are. What's the most powerful word I've given you today? Yeah, someone got it over there. Principle is the highest, okay? That's the highest in rank. Stipulation would be another very, very good one. So what I'm trying to do is, once you understand what words are, now, I love doing this. Have you ever lost anything? Have you, oh, God, I've lost the word. Don't you hate it? Have you suffered any damages? Have you suffered any damages? You have.
No.
That's what suffered means. The judges love pulling that one on you. You've allowed damages. He'll sit up with a big smile on his face and write it down. Good. You may have been harmed and wronged, but you have not suffered damages. Because you won't get a thing if you've suffered it, means you've allowed it. I bet you they taught you that in law school. Oh. Someone. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. So when you learn words, the sword is mighty, the pen is mightier than the sword. Yeah. So we bored shitless yet? Okay, the 10 commercial maxims at law. Now, I told you earlier that the maxims at law, now you can search. These are the most powerful, the maxims at law, except if you leave them in italics. So on any documents that you write, you must put them in upright language so that they're not cursive. In the laws of commerce, the eternal and unchanging principle, different spelling, principle of the law are, a workman is worthy of his hire. In other words, they cannot come into your property and steal your money. They cannot tax you. They cannot tax you. A workman is worthy of his hire. And if you go to the Wages Protection Act, you will see that they are not allowed to deduct any money from you. Look, when I had staff working for me, I would get letters from the Inland Revenue and say, please deduct so-and-so's wages of this amount. I would go out to the worker and I'd say, I've got this letter. They want me to deduct this money out of your wages. Do you agree to that? And they'd say, no. Great, thank you. So I'd write back to the Inland Revenue. Please cough from afar. Okay, now I haven't gone through the whole 10. I'm just giving you a couple here because it goes through an affidavit is the truth and the truth stands. But a lien or claim under commercial law can only be satisfied by one of the following actions. Actually, I should just go briefly through it, but I'd prefer that you actually go and look it up because it says an affidavit is the truth in law. An unrebutted affidavit remains the truth in law, and an unrebutted affidavit becomes the judgment in law. But here's the trick. It doesn't matter how many affidavits you put in and how many affidavits you rebut. There's one that no one ever rebuts. Sorry? I told you, if you want to get out of the system, look for the forms. The affidavit of truth ain't worth the paper it's written on. Okay? There's only one affidavit that we never rebut, and because that is hidden from us. They never tell us that the process server, when they serve us, writes an affidavit and says, Bill has stood up as Turner. And that is the only one that the judge uses for the judgment, because it has remained unrebutted. You knew that, didn't you? It's good when you see a lawyer writing things down. They knew that. That is the only affidavit that remains unrebutted, and the only one that the judge needs to offer you. Oh, this one's going to be, this will come up shortly, but I'm just going to take you down another path. Okay. The judge uses that as the judgment, all right? But this is what he says. He will say, Mr. Bloggs, and then he will pause. When he pauses, and if anyone's watched Victor Borg and he does the punctuation, a pause means a full stop. Mr. Bloggs, you have been charged. So who was charged? Yeah. Not yous, fellas. Okay, so who is the conviction against? Okay, now you have the opportunity to rebut his presumptions that you don't know who you is. And I've done it, and it works. I said, so where's you? Well, you could. Okay, so you is plural. We're actually going to come to this in a minute. You just lead me off down the bloody garden path all the time. You fellows, I don't know. Okay, so that's how tricky they are, and because they operate on presumptions, they presume that you're as thick as two short planks, and guess what? Yous fellows are.
So Bill, what is the wording for refuting who is you? Is that simple?
Sorry?
What is the wording for refuting who is you?
No. Yeah, all you have to say, well, who's you? Who's you?
That's all it
Yeah, who's you?
I'd like to say, Bill, of court, will be honourable with all due respects, would you kindly identify you as?
Look, I'll give you an example of how tricky they are. Back in 2005, when I was young, dumb, and full of bright ideas, I'd worked out a few of the tricks, and I thought, I'm not the defendant. I know I'm not the defendant because that's a made-up word. I'm a living being. So I said, Your Honour, I said, look, I've just got to ask the prosecution, just got to ask the prosecutor to point out the defendant. So the cunning shit, what he did, he put his hands, he picked up the piece of paper and he pointed to my name on the paper and said, that's him over there, Your Honour, pointing to my name on the paper. So the next time I was smarter. I learned every time I went to court, I got smarter and smarter. And so the next time I went to court, I said, Your Honour, could you ask the prosecutor to put his hand on the defendant? Or better still, I've got a mirror with me. Would you have the defendant blow onto the mirror and fog the mirror? You walk into a courtroom with a mirror and the judge is going to kick you out quicker than anything. Where do I get all this shit from?
It works.
Oh, it works. A judge does not want a mirror near the courtroom. No way. Because you just need to go, Your Honour, did I fog that? Get the defendant to do the same. or cough from afar. Right. Actually, I'm so pleased Lana didn't turn up today. Don't spell it backwards, whatever you do. We normally have one Lana in the room. Okay. Number 10 of the commercial maxims at law. A lien or claim under commercial law can only be satisfied by one of the following actions: a rebuttal affidavit of truth, not of life. All you have to do is provide a mirror, and a registrar told me that. Not my friendly registrar, another one. Oh, I didn't tell you that. Is that book still going around? Where did it get to? Jesus, bloody sitting on. These people over here are, they're going to go crooked you. Yeah. Gee, I don't know. I've got to bloody chase you guys up. But in there, you will see something that I did years ago. Once again, I actually take the time to go and look for things. Now, okay, I went onto the court website, or as Jeremy Clarkson says, I went on the internet the other day. Oh, not many petrol heads here. You don't rate Clarkson? Shit, he's clever. He's very clever. Anyway, I went on the internet the other day, and this is what I found. I found the court's website, and I went onto the court's website, and it says here, courts have a wide variety of roles, including enforcing the criminal law, resolving civil disputes, upholding the rights of individuals, ensuring that government agencies stay within the law, and explaining the law. So what happens was, this is back when I was young, I put something into the court, and this registrar, who was a right, not very well liked down in Tauranga, I can assure you, she said, I cannot file this. I said, why? I cannot give legal advice. So I'm pleased you said that. I said, I've been on your website, and it says here that you must uphold the law and explain the law. Well, I've never seen a registrar go grey. She went grey, her hands dropped to her sides, and from that moment on, she was my bitch. Oh, sorry, did that slip out? Sorry. No, honestly, she left 3 months later. She was gone. I had uncovered the court system. They changed the website 2 days later and hid it away, but I found that again, and they've since hidden it away again. Okay, but from that moment on, whenever I went into the court, they would come out and explain the law to me, not legal advice. So, Liz, you'd know the difference between unlawful and illegal? I'll cut it short. Unlawful is against the law. Illegal is a sick bird. Sorry. Just, you've got to take the piss out of them. I mean, they've been taking the piss out of us for years, so I'm doing the same back to them. So, okay, now, if you have a look at the last one there, what is that word? Where did we come across that word earlier? That's in our letter, agreement. So we came to agreement because of the stipulation. Okay, bills of exchange. Now, I explained that all letters are only bills of exchange. An inland bill is a bill that is or on the face of it purports to be. Now, in the letters, you are going to see on the face. And you are going to wonder, where the hell did Bill get that on the face? It's from the bills of exchange, because we're dealing with bills of exchange. So we take the words out of legislation, on the face of it purports to be, both drawn and payable in New Zealand. So this is very, oh, that was the other girl there, that one. Okay, word search. These words are important. Misrepresentation. And to the lady who was worried about Mrs. and married and that, no, you've got to be a Miss. Oh, sorry. Deception, fraud. These words will nail them. Okay, and we're going to find these if we do a search. I really do want to get on to letters, because I think it's, we've done this, we've done the date of born versus date of birth, and that's, once again, this is coming up. Look at that. What have I told you about the Queen? She doesn't exist. The kingly office was abolished in 1649. And have I not told you all the way through that it was just an office, that it's just, they're only agents of the crown? Every king had his own court, and they had the jester. Is that the court? Geez, I love computers. You only punch the information in once, don't you? I had a registrar in, I've got most of my information from registrars, but I had a registrar in Tauranga Court. I went to put my seal onto an affidavit, and she grabbed it off me, and she held it like this and said, "This is my court. This is my court." That is a venue. And you will note the Masonic steps, 1, 2, 3. And if you go to the Auckland High Court and stand up on the balcony, you will look down and you will see the checkerboard there. It's a temple, a Masonic temple. But the court is the paper. Now, some people are very good at writing, how many pages was it? 14 pages for 14 pages? If I can't do it on one page, it's not a bill of exchange. That's why government departments go onto the second page just to put yours sincerely and their name. And they space it out, double space it and everything, so that it goes over onto the second page, so it's not a bill of exchange. I've told you, everything is a bill of exchange. Okay, so I do everything on one page. And then I put my stamp on the back. I'll come to that anyway. Okay, court summons, we're going to go straight past that, because
I think stamp or seal on the back.
sorry?
There's a stamp or seal on the back.
Stamp, 5-cent stamp. You know those 5-cent stamps you can't buy? Okay, so Matthew 5:25, agree with thine adversary quickly whilst thou art in the way with him, lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the officer, and thou be cast into prison. Okay, jurisdiction, right at the beginning of the very first Matrix movie, there's the cops have all swarmed down there to the lady, I forget her name now, but you know, the kung fu lady could climb the walls and kick shit out of guys. And he said, the FBI arrived, and he said, don't give me any of your, this is my juris bloody diction bullshit. Okay, jurisdiction is It is the authority, capacity, power, or right to act. The only way they can get jurisdiction is if you give it to them. That's the only way they can get jurisdiction. So what they sometimes will do is they'll say, right, we need your shoes. Why? Well, you've got laces there, you might hang yourself. Well, I don't see any laces. But anyway, they'll take things off you, and then they'll say, now we need you to sign for your property. Your name is the property. So when you sign, you have given them jurisdiction. So when I'm advising anyone, if they're stupid enough to go to court and not do a letter, because some of them want to go and fight in court for some strange reason. And I'll say, look, if you're going to go to court, wear your oldest pair of jandals and nothing, well, no, sorry, I'll correct that. Pair of shorts and have nothing on you. No phone, no food, no pets. Oh, sorry, that was a song. So when they say, oh, we need your jandals, yep, take them. Because you can hang yourself with your jandals. No, but you can bitch slap with them. So anyway, when they say sign for your property, no, you can have them. You can have them. I don't want them. Now they're in a bit of a bind. Oh, no, we've taken your property. We need you to say, no, you can have them. I don't want them. Go in bare feet. Can we take your toenails? No. The only way they can get jurisdiction is if you sign or allow them, because now you're understanding them, standing under them. Okay? You can see the naughty ones, the ones who are going to be going to court soon, writing hard out here. And it happens to be ladies. What's going on, girls? Okay. Here, you can put this back in there now. God, she's good, mate. Jeez, I feel sorry for you. Okay, now if we wanted to, now I take this out of their legislation and I give you all the outs that they cannot get out of, because under statute they're bound by law. So the Reciprocal Enforcement of Judgments Act, if you have got a judgment, which you have through what was the word? Come on.
Contract.
That was close.
Contract.
Sorry?
Through contract.
No. Sorry? It's getting late. No, I'm not now. You have got a judgment because you stipulated what the facts were, that if they didn't agree, that you had automatic judgment. Now, if you wanted to, I don't have to go this far, although I have done this. The first time I did this process was when I had a judgment against me from the Tauranga City Council for not paying my rates. They got judgment. Bay Corp did every dirty trick under the sun. Wouldn't accept my registered mail envelopes and everything. But anyway, got judgment against me. So I wrote up my own court, delivered it to the court. I didn't even register it. I went and delivered it to the court the next day with my judgment and the Reciprocal Enforcement of Judgments Act. Okay, you don't have to go this far, because all we're going to do now is just write a certificate. And unfortunately, but if you use that, right, yeah, this is really important. So I will go through this. Now, if you go online and search for the banking code of practice. Just be careful you put a B there, not a W, but okay, can you I'll sit down so that people can see. I keep standing in the way, and the poor old cameraman's having a job keeping up. Okay, we, us, and our means your bank, and you and your means you, the customer. Okay, once again, they're diminishing our status. Okay, the bank is your sedeke by trust. But by saying we, us, and our means your bank, and you and your means you, the customer, now everything they say, you will agree to this, you will that. Now, when you know what you will means, you have given them power of attorney because it's by your will. And there was only one, I read every bank's loan agreement. One of them spelt it out really good, and that was ASB. They said, you will give us power of attorney. Power of attorney to access the trust. Whereas the other banks just put, you will do this and you will do that. And, but everything was done by your will because under the 1835 Wills Act, everything is done by your will. So if you're going to write a last will and testament, I would advise not. I would advise to just do a codicil. Okay, we, us, and our means your bank. Sorry. Okay. In the letters, you will see that we have capitalized the W, the U, and the O. So now they become proper nouns. We all know what a proper noun is, especially those who went to school to eat their lunch. A proper noun is a real noun, a real person. Okay, so by capitalizing we, us, and our, not I. When we capitalize we, us, and our, it puts us back into our status. So everything about the letters that I'm writing for you is about your status. Take I out of your language. And if you watch the Pirates movie, you wouldn't want to use I because he licked it and stuck it back in. Okay, so an abstract noun, you cannot see, you cannot hear, cannot smell, cannot taste, cannot touch. Okay? So I'm just showing you there are other types of nouns. You're going to have to be quick. You're going to have to be quick. Okay. Proper noun, there we go. Proper noun. A proper noun is a noun that refers to a particular person, place, or thing. In the English language, the primary types of nouns are common and proper nouns, with the former term referring to things that are generalized and the latter referring to specific named things. Proper nouns begin with a capital letter. Little tricks. Okay, stamp duty is really important. On the back, we'll come to it. Consideration. Now, I did touch briefly on that by putting the $5 into your bank account. Okay, a certificate. I showed you what a certificate was earlier. That was before lunch, so you've probably forgotten. But, indenture. I know some of you have got dentures, but I'm not being... In that there... May I for 1 second? I'll show you what an indenture is. Now, I'm sure all you people who do know. Here we go. So what we do with a certificate Thank you. Okay, if you go online and look at the Wakaputanga, you will see that it's got crazy cutouts all the way around it. That's called an indenture. So I don't know whether you can see that. Can you see that there? So if I put that together, it is identical. Now, if you give them a certificate, can you see that? Oh, am I in the way? Can you see the cutout in the corner and down there? Okay, so I've used pinking shears. I'll pass them around. So what you do with your certificate is you do it on A4, cut it into A5. A5 is half A4. Gee, I'm smart, aren't I? Geez, your father's very clever. But when you cut them the same, they know that you hold the other half of it, so they can't play any tricky business. And you also put your stamp on the back there. So pass those. No, you. Oh, go on. Pass them around quickly because we're running out of time. And okay, so the indenture is a crucial part of it, so that they know that you know. Okay, when you put an indenture on, they know that you've got the other half. So if you send them an original copy, they'll hang on to it. So, oh no, we never got that. So we're showing you with the consideration. Consideration means a monetary sum or some type of consideration. Okay, so when you put the $5 into the bank and use the courier bag number as the reference, now we've paid our consideration. Okay, now so there we go on the front of the document, top right-hand corner, we could put $1. Now, in case you're unaware, not many of you would remember because most of you are a lot younger than me, but we used to have pounds, shillings, and pence as a monetary system. But we also had a weight measurement system called pounds as well. So a pound was a weight of silver. In America, a dollar is a weight of silver as well. It's a weight measurement. So in America, a unit of silver, was payment. But then in 1933, it all changed, and they took the bottom of the U out, and people still thought it was the same thing, but it's not. Then, later on, 60s, they changed again and just went to that. That is not a sum certain. A sum certain, if you write a check, they've taken checks out now. Oh, I'm getting high as a kite. Thanks. A sum certain, back in the days when we had checks, you used to have to write $1. And then in a box, when you have anything inside a box, it doesn't appear on the page. So if you have a look at that, you will see on the front page there, it's got $1. People say, you can't buy $1 stamps. Get off your asses and have a look, because you can buy those.
Sorry, is there a name to that rule where the industry moves off?
A lot of these things are hidden. But anything in a box does not appear on the page. Anything in brackets does not appear on the page. The judge cannot see italics. So they trick us with little things, but they don't spell it out. Otherwise, they're going to give the game away. How do I find out these things? I'm a nosy bastard.
It's called the four corners rule.
There we go.
What?
Foreplay
Four
rules.
corners rule. Any document, everything's got to be written on that page. If you find boxing or anything else, it's excluded. It's a different box. You know, you're charged with $1,000 to box that. You again, who's you, and then with 1,000. But it's not on the same page. It's got to be all on one page, like Bill's getting ahead. Bill explained.
Okay, so on the back, we're going to pay our stamp duty, which is 5 cents. We're going to put the date across at 45 degrees and sign it. Now, unfortunately, at my final workshop a couple of weeks ago, I had my my Postmaster General stamps, but someone thought they deserved it better than me, so, so not to worry, you know, they deserve it. So I have all my own stamps because of my own court. I have certified true copy, my registrar stamps. I have all my own stamps for my own court. I never get any of their stamps or seals on my documents. The moment you do, you have lost control of it. It is now taken over by their court. Okay, so when you put the date across like that, you've got to put a squiggle on it. The squiggle is showing the date that that stamp was cancelled. Okay? Now you've paid your stamp duty. And how I found that out, I went into court and I put my documents up before the judges back in the days when I was young. And judge looks at it and then he turns it over and he says, I don't see how this is going to help you. Is there anything on that page? No, it's an inchoate instrument. Bills of Exchange Act, inchoate, incomplete. So when you put a stamp down there, you will see the judge will say, oi, and he'll put it back. Because now he's going to be done for mail fraud, which is how they got Al Capone, was mail fraud, not taxation. Okay, so if he interferes with the mail, he's in deep doo-doos.
So does it have to be $1 on the front and
5 cents on the back. Yeah.
so $1 has to be $1 on the front?
You can put what you like. It's your court, mate. Do what you like. But if you've got it with the words, now it's a sum certain. So, and I'm sure that you're writing these things down, sum certain. I'm certain you are.
So, Bill, are you saying just on that postal scheme, just from the previous one, you've marked the little 5?
Sorry?
Is that what you're referring to? You've crossed out 5 cents?
No. You just write the date. You put the date across at 45 degrees and you put your signature on it, which means you've cancelled the stamp. So the stamp can't be used again. But also the date that it was cancelled, the date that it's cancelled shows them. Now it's not an inchoate instrument. Okay? So the judge cannot say, I don't see how this is going to help you. Okay, there's the indentures there that I was talking about. Now the big secret, this is the courier bag. Now you need to get the number of the courier bag, and the consideration is the $5 you bank into your bank account, and you use the courier bag number as the reference. And now I have covered that before, but there you go.